Good morning, friends. This is Wes Lee. Welcome to the Mobile House of Tone. I'm a band instrument repair technician. I started a YouTube channel to show what my life is like fixing band instruments. Today we're on site for a marching competition. We're here early before everything gets going. We're going to set up, and I've been promising you a tour of the RRR, the Rapid Response Repair Vehicle. So we're going to get deployed. We'll throw a time lapse up of that, and then I'll take you through the rest of my rig. All right, friends, through the magic of time lapse, you got to see some of the setup, some of the fighting with the wind. We got a little bit of wind happening today. The text messages are already pouring in on the other phones. We got our banner up, looks great. Come under the canopy. Let's take a look. This is where it all started, the need for a vise on site. And so I found this Wilton vise. It's called the ATV. Mounts into a receiver, but of course doing band instrument work, I'm not trying to work down here. I basically put Lego parts together, big Legos, and built an offset, double trailer hitch, offset. I bought this Max Haul. It's very secure. It has a little bit of shake that I haven't been able to get rid of yet, but it doesn't really bother me while I'm working. The system of the rig was built on the bed slide principle, and also if you've ever seen the decked drawer system. Now, I didn't want actual drawers, and the bed slides, they're 48 inches wide. I wanted to have a workbench, so I built it as two separate units with a pull out on the bottom and a pull out on the top. So this is my main workbench. I've got about 36 inches of space before the toolbox. The toolbox is full-on waterproof. This is a flight military ATA case, water gaskets. On my toolboxes, I have generalized sections, kind of like the hardware store. You have generalized sections. In the top of my toolbox, I keep things like my on-the-go oils, my measuring, Dremel tools, my drill bits, my soldering stuff. That's what stays up here. First drawer's got valve stuff in it. Second drawer's woodwind stuff in it. This drawer's got my hammers and some pokers and an alternate set of screwdrivers. And then bottom drawer is all my brass tools. And I've got some rods and expanders and things for trombones, resetting, slides. I've had to do that on the go. And a few mandrels, my burnishers, slide pliers. Just everything in a basic brass bench. When I was at Red Wing, everybody had a toolbox. A couple of us had buckets, and everything just went in the bucket. As long as I knew it was in that bucket, I had it. So behind the toolbox, this is all brass parts. These go boxes here have one is set up for like baritone sousaphone mouth pipes and receivers. The other one is set up for braces. Then I use these DeWalt go boxes, and you can see I've got corks and felts of all kinds in there, water key springs, everything for keeping all the horns, brass horns going. In this box, it's set up with more raw materials on the top, screws, a whole assortment of valve guides and stems down here, and then this is, good morning, how are you, sir? Then down on the bottom, we've got just about a piece of everything in as far as valve caps and finger buttons and all of that kind of thing. It's a Smith Little torch. So this is the same kind of a setup that I have back at the shop. Goes through oxygen pretty fast on these little canisters. If I had to do it again, I would probably get a 5.5 pounder oxygen bottle, but this is very easy and small and portable. I just carry extras of the oxygen. In brass world, moving along, You need a bench motor, and you also need a buffing machine at points. So I've got this DeWalt hammer drill. Has plenty of power, plenty of speeds. Because it's a square shape, it allows me to chuck it in the vise. This was our first thought on using some kind of a silent generator. This is a DeWalt battery generator. It runs off DeWalt batteries. They make it for running their big concrete saws and their jackhammers and stuff in the big cities where they can't tie in the power. So what I've done is I've put a foot switch on this. It's just a momentary switch, and so it'll operate. I use a gear tie to hold the trigger, so this is always locked and on, and then I set the speed accordingly. I haven't had any problems with pushing on the bearings side load from using it as a buffing wheel or anything like that, but this gives me a bench motor option on the go, so I can repair keys on woodwinds, clean and buff slide tubes. So this gives me a good option. The other thing that I mainly use this for is I'll have my leak light plugged into it. Provides isolated power to all of the tools under here that I need. As we got deeper into power development and power needs, we had to get creative and come up with other things. So let's go ahead and do power, and then we'll come back and do woodwinds and more brass stuff. So our power requirements changed from some of the early deployments that we did. From the DeWalt battery system, we needed something that was a little beefier. I wanted to incorporate using the ultrasonic cleaners. So what we've got is we've got a large one that can do a full trumpet. I can do the upper half of a French horn and get all 4 rotors in that section. And then we've got our small one that we do detail work on, pistons, rotors, all of this sort of thing. This is our flush tank, and we're going to have Miss Kay is going to demonstrate how she rigs up this faucet to this.
Battery operated sprayer. Click.
Look at that, on the go faucet. And then of course we have our air compressor. When the air compressor comes on, it's basically a silent air compressor. The dB meter on it is about 63 decibels. So it's light, it refills quickly, it doesn't draw too much power. Now, if we're not powering with that DeWalt, then how are we powering? Well, if you step back here, you'll see some wires coming out of the rig. You can see we have 4 100-watt solar panels. So we're completely self-sufficient. They all run inside, and we're plugging it in to this Jackery solar generator. So right now this morning we're pulling about 139 watts. The battery is about 97% full, and we're actually outputting no power. Let's see if we can make it go. Get the compressor to kick on. Yeah, so the compressor pulls about 790 watts, and it just cycles like that. We also run our refrigerator. So the latest that we've run this after dark, pulling all the power that we draw, is about 4 hours, and at that we use about 40% of the battery, so it seems to last a while. We also run an ARB refrigerator off of this system as well to keep our food and drinks cold throughout the day. So also on this top slide over here, let's get into some of the woodwind supplies that we have. I carry all the flutes and clarinet pads in here. This one's got tenon corks, tenon cork material, felts, this sort of thing. This one's got all kinds of rod screws, pivot screws, thumb rests, anything screw related is in here. This top one is miscellaneous pads and some bassoon pads. Yes, at marching festivals I have had to change bassoon pads. So that's what stays up here. This side is loaded with almost every size of Ferree's B52 saxophone pad, which fits all of the Yamaha and import stuff. And this one is loaded with virtually every size in the B53, which is the Kahn and Selmer style. And so the combination of all this gets all the work done. In the James Bond case, this is where I keep my drill motor and also any grinding or buffing supplies, along with my mask, are in there. So this final slide runs about halfway down and has a stop in it. You saw the Jackery power plant back there. So we pull this. This is all of my brass dent stuff. So I have a second vise. So for the big dent tool area slide out, crowning piece of course is my Mini Z. This really gets the job done. I'll put some snippets up while I'm going through things so that you can see this in action if you haven't seen it on other videos. All the accessories with the Mini Z, it's out of the Mini Z starter pack. That's what I carry. I have duplicates already in the shop. Some of the other things that I do carry are the slide hammers that you've seen me use before and demonstrate and talk about. My wood assembly mandrels, trombone rod. I store everything in lengths of PVC. This is the trombone stubby rod. And I cut lengths of PVC and lock them in like that so they stay safe. Rust is a real problem, so you've seen how I demonstrate the Johnson's paste wax. We got rained on a couple of weeks ago. These are the barrel dent balls that I bring, and I've got some cleanup work. I've got some surface rust to do. I had not gotten to these before today's competition, but I carry some of these for doing mellophones and other things, but I've got to get these cleaned up. Of course, you've seen my dent ball sets before. In these waterproof cases, I've got my V-blocks and paraffin and some other round threaded balls for the dent rods. And in this case, these are all of the attachments for the Mini Z that I carry on the road with me and everything to run that. So when I pull this out, I can get to everything that I need to get to between these two boxes. As far as lubricants and cleaning supplies, I keep a tub of my most common items down here, and then within that I have a small basket that's got my contact cement, some silver polished valve oils, slide greases of various viscosities. Everything stays in there and then packs away down into the tote. So that's easy enough. And then after dark, we have full lighting with corner spots. So we have 4 corner spots. And then we have these 42-inch LED light strips that are quite bright. So the low setting is nice, mood lighting, and then it gets much more intense. And I have one over the work area as well. And then we've got a couple of other spots when we need it. That's how the rig goes. Well, thanks everybody. That's the tour of the rig. That's the Triple R. It's what I've been working on for a long time. It does everything that I need it to do. Hope you get some ideas about maybe something that you're building. If you have any questions or comments, I'm always appreciative of that. We've got some stuff starting to happen, so we've got to get a few more tie down points to make sure that the wind isn't going to carry us away, and then it's time to get to work. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Subscribe for more videos. This is Wes Lee signing out.